All right, friends, welcome back to another episode of Healedish, and today is such a special episode. I'm so excited. I have Maddie Zahm here, whose music is just changing lives. So
You're so sweet. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. This is going to be so fun. I feel like we have so much in common.
Oh, absolutely. And if you guys don't know her just by her name, if you've ever seen on my TikTok or Instagram, I have the Hi, I'm Jubilee, and I've done a couple versions of it throughout the years because I'm just obsessed with the song. But that is what the song is on my profile with my little intro. So
Is it you might not like her?
Huh?
Is it you might not like her?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I love that song so much. And I feel like it just really embodies what it is like to deconstruct and jumping into the fear of what if I don't like who I am after this? And am I disappointing all of the past views that I would have? Yeah, would I be disappointed in myself if I was younger looking at me now and like pushing
Totally.
past that? But I was,
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
oh, no, you can say what you're going to say.
I was literally randomly, I think it's so funny that we're talking about this. I was thinking about it yesterday, the day that I wrote it. Just remember sending that to one of my friends and thinking about how far it's like, I never would have even imagined it being what it is now. Like, I don't know why I was thinking about it yesterday. So it's funny that we're talking about it today because it feels so just fresh top of mind. It's crazy.
Well, I feel like it was a whole movement. When it came out, so many people were stitching it and it was just resonating with so many people because I think so many of us were just so afraid of that, and it really captures what it feels like to jump in. So I was hoping that you could tell us what type of church you were raised in, what type of denomination, and the crazy beliefs.
Totally. Yeah. So I was non-denominational evangelical, I think. It's like a mixture of that. It was like the classic pop-up tent, when like the mega churches really started. And like, I would say, I'm trying to think I was like 14. So it would have been 13 years ago. I feel like it really became a huge thing that like people were starting these like mega churches and like tents, and they were booming.
I'm actually not familiar with that.
Yeah, it was in Idaho, especially. Like I feel like that was when like, I would gander to say that was when like pastors being put on a pedestal really started, like the celebritizing or the, what is that called?
Like, I don't even know, but I know exactly what you mean.
Like making pastors celebrities. I really feel like that started around that time. And I was kind of indoctrinated into this church. I had actually been baptized in the Catholic Church. So if you ask
So
if you ask my grandpa, I'm his only hope because I was the only grandchild that was baptized in the Catholic Church. So I ended up going to non-denominational evangelical. So I was very good at convincing people to love the Lord. I was on the streets. I was chit-chatting. I really do. I joke that the way that I am at a gay bar now, how friendly and excited I am to meet new people, is just a different type of evangelical vibes. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, let's play We're Not Really Strangers instead of like, do you want to meet your Lord and Savior? You know what I mean?
No, totally.
But, yeah, it was, it's crazy to think about. It blew up very quickly. And I think because of that, there was not a lot of checks and balances. And unfortunately, I was kind of caught, as most of the women, especially younger women, were caught in the crossfires of this church being blown up by 22-year-old men that wore skinny jeans and probably should have been car salesmen. So
the cool Christians, for sure. Yeah, were there any specific people that you look back on, even if it was just musicians at the time, that you really looked up to and connected with?
Yes. Are you kidding? Lauren Daigle.
Oh yeah. She was so cool.
Oh, so cool. Are you kidding? Now I look back and I'm like, I had a crush on her. That for sure wasn't straight. That was not straight at all. I was listening to, that was my own experience. You know what I mean?
That's hilarious.
I'm trying to think. Amy Grant, obviously. Pretty much all of the... My problem is that like Hillsong would always have those like guest people that would sing, and like, I was really into Hillsong and that vibe. Yeah. But I genuinely, now looking back, I think I had more crushes on worship leaders than I care to admit.
Yeah, I feel like either it was Lauren Daigle or Carrie Job came when I was at Bethel for the women's conference. So, do you know Bethel Music? You know
Oh,
all
yes.
the Okay,
Yes.
well, I went to their school, Supernatural Ministry School. So
Welcome
I
back.
was I was out there trying to like heal the sick and raise the dead, you know? That was
No. Oh,
No,
yeah.
it was like the total revival kind of thing. And like
Mm.
you were saying, like how you're outgoing at a gay bar now, I feel like Bethel, with all of its horrible toxicity, really helped heal me from being super shy because I used to be so afraid to
Yeah.
talk to people. But man, they're like, go give that person a prophetic word right now. And if you don't hear anything, God is always talking, so you better listen more.
It's so true. I honestly, sometimes I really am grateful that I had that experience. I don't know if you're like the
I
same, but
feel
I'm
that way
like,
a little bit, yeah.
yeah, I'm like, I like now I can like chit chat with anybody. Like, I genuinely feel like I can like walk in a room and be like, okay, like who is not fitting in? Like, let's have a conversation. I
Yeah.
feel like I will say they did teach me intentionality of people that are left out, but now it's more just for the sake of like including them instead of like treasures in heaven. You know what I mean?
Yes. It's
Yeah.
coming from a very good place now
Yeah.
rather than before. It's
Rather
like,
than, yeah.
it feels like a lot of people were just treated as projects a lot. That was my big problem with Bethel is I was constantly like, I don't know if we're just praying for people to get saved and I never talk to them again. It just feels like it's a checklist at this point
Right.
to just like try to save as many humans by the end of the day.
Thank God I was a good Christian. I was really good at it. I really was. Do you ever think about that? Like, I'm like, God,
Yes.
I was like really good at it. Like, even sometimes when I'm having conversations with people, like recently, like I don't shy away from hard conversations with just in anything really, and specifically with people that I used to go to church with. When they call me and they have questions, like I have no problem having conversations about it. And it's so interesting to talk to specifically the women that are like still in churches that like don't let them lead. And I'm like, I said this to somebody that I recently had a conversation with because she called me and she was like, hey, we just like put out this statement and you commented because it was anti-LGBTQ. And so of course I'm going to comment. And I was
Yeah.
like, girl, the bummer part is that like, and I literally said this to her and I'm so sorry that I'm airing this out, but I was like, you know what's so silly is that like the gays would love you. Like if I were to take you to like a drag brunch, do you know how many like you're an iconic like 40-year-old woman that is like the sweetest like most, and you're going to churches that are not going to let you lead and you're giving up going to drag brunch with like give me one drag brunch and I guarantee you will like I just come here. Like now I'm like de-evangelizing. Do you know what I mean? Where I'm like
Yes.
come to drag brunch, okay? You will love it. But anyways, yeah.
No, and I'm like, a lot of it just has to do with being put in different situations because everything was so sheltered. Like for
Yeah.
me, a big part of my deconstruction and realizing like unpacking is being gay a sin
Yeah.
was when I was in Atlanta and I became a background actor and I'm surrounded by all of these people suddenly who are not like Bethel people. And I realized that all of these people have value and they're not scary and they're
Yeah.
not because that's how they make it sound is that the outside
Right.
world is just terrifying.
And did you find you actually like found community in
Yes.
places? Yeah, because they don't have expectations. They don't have like it is the actual come as you are and you experience that and you're like, "Oh, we're not just saying come as you are. They actually do want me to come as I am." Like
Yeah.
it's so true.
No, it's very
So,
healing. And going back to what you were saying about how you were just the best Christian, I feel like when I look at all of these deconstruction pages and I look at Kenzie, you know, my ex sister in law and best friend, I'm like, we were the most dedicated. You know, we weren't just leaving because we wanted to sin. You know what I mean?
oh, totally. Yeah, it's interesting. Do you find it that like I don't know, sometimes this has been something that I like kind of miss church sometimes. I'm
Yeah.
like, I've had this like weird experience recently where I feel like I've fully deconstructed and I'm so happy with where I'm at that like I find myself like a little bit like, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I don't know, there's a part of me that there were there were good parts of the community, and now I found that in the queer community and other communities that like I really adore. And it really is interesting thinking about how big, like, that was such a big part of our life. And now it's no, like, I don't know. It's a very strange, I feel like it's continuously cognitive dissonance for me.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Recently I was in somebody's wedding, and a lady from the church agreed to do the fitting for my bridesmaid's dress, and she was the
Oh,
sweetest woman ever. And we went to the bridal shower, and I kid you not, this entire church showed up for this bridal shower. They got the most gifts
mm,
I've ever seen in my entire life, and it's because the groom has been attending this church, since he was
yeah.
really young. And yeah, I think when people ask if there's anything I miss about the church, I mean, yeah, the community. It's
Yeah.
nice. I mean, was it safe? Did I feel emotionally safe? No,
No.
but it is nice to get together once a week with the
Yeah.
same group of people and to feel like
Yeah.
you'll be there for like the big events.
Which I think we replace sometimes, like, to echo that, I think I replaced it with gay kickball because that was weekly on Sundays.
So
And for some reason, it filled my cup so much because it was like Sunday morning. I have something, I have community, I can't wait. Like, I don't know. It's so interesting the way that, like, that Sunday morning thing was so big for me. I didn't realize, like, that was honestly one of the biggest things I mourned was like my Sunday mornings, knowing exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go get a donut. I'm going to put on a dress. I'm going to go to church. And now I don't know, it's just been funny. I'm realizing every Sunday morning still to this day, and it's been a very long time since I've been at church. Sunday mornings don't feel right sometimes.
yeah, because
It's
it
so
feels like
weird.
I'm supposed to be
I'm
somewhere,
supposed
right?
to be doing something. Yeah, yeah.
I've enjoyed it a bit though. Like I miss the community aspect, but it is freeing to feel like, wow, I have this whole day actually where I can
Yeah.
sleep in on Saturday and I don't have to be thinking, oh, I have to be up in the morning. It is
Totally.
freeing in a way too. But I was wondering, were you involved in youth group? Did your church have a youth group?
Of course. That's where most of my trauma comes from.
Same.
Totally. Yeah. I remember I brought my friend to church camp, and this is when I started deconstructing. My friend who had I think the reason that they thought that she was like sinning was because she had like false eyelashes and like a lot of the boys liked her.
Stop. Because she
Yeah.
was alluring and that's a sin.
No, it's like nuts. I also, why are we as 13? Okay, I'm going to get into it. Is that okay?
Yeah, let's get into
Why
it.
are we as like 13-year-old girls in a chapel listening to 22-year-old men talk about their porn addiction? Why are we having this? Why are we having these conversations?
I
Why
talk
do
about
I
this all the time.
need to know that? That's not for me.
Yeah.
That's
Or
crazy.
the pastors confessing and saying, oh, I have a deep porn addiction to preteens.
And somebody call the police. Something, right? Like, why?
Jail.
Who? Jail. 911 is what needs to happen. So no, but I brought my friend. This is when I started deconstructing. I brought my friend to church camp, and I went to a ton of church camps. Like, I loved church camp. And she had a panic attack because of how terrible it was. So true, Queen. Same. Okay. And the pastors were over her praying that the demon would come out.
That's so real.
And I was like, she doesn't need prayers. She needs propranolol. Like everyone back off. And I literally remember being like, something isn't right here. Something is not right here. And it took me a lot longer to finally leave, but that was my first inkling that I was maybe in a cult.
Yeah, and
But
people say that all the time. I can't tell you, like, one of the things I do on my social media is I read comments from people. So, like, horrible church stories. The amount of times I've been told that people were told that their anxiety was a demon and that they had to do a horrible deliverance thing or they were forced to have conversations. So, like, a pastor is in the room and they are forced to have a conversation with their abuser and pretend that they are there and forced to forgive them on the spot for deliverance ministry.
oh, and what's so funny is that even hearing that, my Christianity like flip brain that I can like flip. You know
Yes.
what I mean? Like I'm like it's just how did I think that was normal? That's what I want to know. I don't know what I was doing. I think about it frequently. Yeah, that's horrendous.
Indoctrination, for
Oh, it
sure.
is.
I
Oh,
mean,
and
I would have thought it was normal at Bethel. I
yeah,
mean, we did stuff like that all the time.
do you remember, I don't know if this is something that we should talk about, but do you remember when somebody's child passed away and like
I've talked about, yes.
higher, yeah, we, yeah.
My ex, so he was horribly abusive, bad person.
So,
But that was actually the beginning of the end of our marriage. That happened a month before we
whoa.
got divorced. And it was because we had met at my Bethel internship and he was all about that. He was posting about it. He was like, wake up, Olive. And I just remember my instruction had been starting because I'd been on these sets and just like really
Yeah,
starting to think about things for the first time. And we'd been
yeah,
voting differently and it was just all piling up. And I was like, this is so sick and sad. These parents are grieving. I don't blame them for wanting to do this. If a church told me that there was some hope, I would also be demanding that
yeah.
people pray. But this is so irresponsible. And it went on for like, I think 6 or 7 days they did that.
Oh, yeah. I just, I just remember seeing that mom and being like, someone needs to just mourn with her. Someone mourn with her. Like, it was just a lot of enabling, you know, and I, God forbid somebody wants a miracle, and I hear that, but also, you know, that was a tough watch. That was, I can't imagine, I can't imagine being around someone, because at that point I had started deconstructing, so I wasn't really around people that were sincerely on that boat. But I can't imagine having to have that conversation. I can imagine why that. Yeah, that would be difficult. I don't even know how I would respond. Yeah,
No,
I
the
just
tension
remember
was horrible.
the tension.
He actually told me that my lack of faith was why she wasn't going to be raised from the dead.
No,
No, he did.
and once again, call the police.
Police
911.
jail.
Yeah, police jail.
And I don't know if you know this. It is so funny. My ex also thought that he was never going to die, ever.
Oh,
He thought, I'm going to be the first person who's going to live forever because I have that much faith. And I think what's so funny about Bethel, and we got married because of a prophetic word. It was crazy. But the thing
fun.
about Bethel, yeah, and these beliefs is that the people who take them seriously take them super seriously. So, I mean, we tell people heal the sick, raise the dead. So,
Yeah.
with their theology, like, was that mom doing anything wrong? Like, really? You know, I mean, that
Mm.
is the theology. And then it goes to, well, how far do you take it? Because that was my ex's thing. He was like really broken from reality because to him, he was like, if we're supposed to heal the sick and raise the dead and God doesn't want us to ever be sick, then why would I ever die? So it is a slippery slope.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. So, wowza. And here's the thing. It's crazy how the line moves with people that are indoctrinated. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The fabric of reality, once you start pushing it a little more, it is a dangerous place to exist in. And it's also impossible to have conversations about it. And everybody can have their own faith, like, mind you, like, I believe wholeheartedly that but it is specifically churches that teach you it's so strange. It's like self-importance, and also somehow we are not enough. It's like this weird, like, am I making sense?
Yes, I do.
It's
Like
this
it feels like a
strange,
huge main character syndrome
while
oftentimes.
also somehow being like, and I am worth nothing.
And I'm
And like,
trash.
it's, yes, and it's like, it's very confusing. They keep you here, and now also somehow mentally, I'm so grateful that I am no longer there. Yeah.
Absolutely. And going back to what you said about how, like, I mean, oftentimes it's like, how far are we going to take these beliefs? Because, say, the pastor who is confessing his porn addiction, he might be like, well, I should be doing that because it says to confess your sins to the church. But obviously, that is not appropriate. So, what was purity culture like? Did you have any like purity
Oh,
culture demonstrations that you guys did?
yes. Oh my God. Oh, purity culture, I think, is like the biggest thing that I've had to really overcome from the church, other than like homophobia, fatphobia, all that. But I mean, purity culture still affects me to this day. Definitely. I mean, I remember when I was younger, first of all, I've obviously, and you might not like her, you heard about my purity ring. And what's so funny is that my parents were actually like more, were cooler than like the typical Christian. Like they were like getting in trouble for pretending that we were having like, I'm outing my parents right now. They would like pretend that we were having like a Bible study, and then my parents would like let us watch Pretty Little Liars, and then we wouldn't tell anyone about it because it
I
was like
love
this
that.
big thing that Pretty Little Liars was going to turn us gay, which like I'm not going to lie, like Emily Fields didn't help. I will be so, you know what I mean? Like
That
they
is
were
so
pushing it.
real.
Like I'm actually not even going to fight that. You got me there, okay? But I remember I was like 15, 14 and a half. And when you're 15, typically in that church, you would get a purity ring. And I have always been this way. I fucking love a common goal. Like I love community. I love just like I just love I love a group project. I love matching outfits. I love being a part of things. And
So you were the best Christian ever.
oh my God, I loved it. Are you kidding? And yeah, no, I'm like my first pride. I don't even want to talk about it. But I remember that I asked my dad, I was like, hey, everyone is having these purity rings and I'm feeling left out with my friends. Will you get me one? Like, and my dad was like, what is a purity ring? And I was like, it's to
No
say that I'm
way.
saying, yeah, no, my dad didn't know, which mind you, my dad was like raised Catholic, but wasn't really like religious, was mostly religious for my mom. So my dad was like pretty chill, which I think is what anchored the boat because my mom got really into the church. And then my dad was like this like Patagonia father that like bangs the table and is like, let's rock and roll. I don't really know. Like, right. Like he's there for the free coffee and for the vibes. Okay. And so he goes, what the hell is a purity ring? And I was like, oh, like I'm going to save myself for marriage. And he's like, why would I want to know about that? And I was like, that's so true. He's like, that's creepy. And I was like, oh. He's like, yeah, I'm not going to buy my daughter a ring to tell me what she's doing with other people. And I was like, okay, well then what if I bought it and I give it to you and you give it to me? And he's like, no. He finally gets it for me and he goes, this has nothing to do with your sexuality. Here is a ring. Do with it what you will. So Rob was like cool as hell, right? Like Rob had it, okay? For some of the homophobia that my dad really struggled with, he had it. He had that. He had purity culture on lock. But yeah, I there was a lot of like, I didn't kiss anyone until I think I was like 22. Like I think I smooched my best friend when I was like way younger, but now looking back, I guess that
Was it like a real kiss or was it like a
no, it was like you know what I mean? And so she likes to pretend that she was my first kiss, but I
claim
was
to fame there?
terrified. Yeah, no, literally. I was terrified of anything physical. I was terrified of, yeah, it was terrifying to me. Like, I remember my first kiss was with a man in my car. I knew that he wanted to kiss me, and I was like, I'm fucking 22. I need to get it over with. Like, I can't be a 22-year-old. Like, I can't not. So I'm sitting there. I had my puffer jacket on. I put my seatbelt on for the first kiss. Okay?
You kept it
Yeah.
on?
No, I put it on. We got in the car. I knew he was going to kiss me. I put my seatbelt on, kept my puffer jacket on. He kissed me, and I remember going,
Not disappointing.
yeah.
Why did you buckle your seatbelt? Just to be like, we're not doing anything else?
Just kind of making sure that this was my chastity belt. Do you know what I mean? It was giving no goes, you know what I mean? Like, automatically you kiss someone, and then it just turns into sex. It was kind of my brain. Because they would tell me, once you start your clock, you can't unstart it. And it's only a matter of time until you're ready.
I haven't heard that one in a really long time. Yeah. Going back to the purity ring, oh my gosh. Like, your dad is my hero for that because somebody else, I had them on recently, and her dad proposed to her. Like, they went on a actual weekend getaway where they bonded, and she just thought that this is like a daddy-daughter weekend that was kind of facilitated by the church. And then he ended up like taking her to the edge of a lake, and he like proposed to her with a purity ring.
Oh, ew! Oh, not so good. I hate.
And it's like, how is that not so creepy? Like, that is not okay.
Oh, that. Call the police. 911. Dial them up. That's nuts. Wow, a proposal. But also, it was kind of normalized.
Yeah, and
Dads
I think
were in charge of that.
Yeah, which is interesting because for my experience was similar to where my parents, they're like very evangelical, but and very pro purity culture, but I think I was more so from the youth group. I mean, they
Totally.
really raised us to believe in this. So it was also me who was, I want the purity ring. I'm like really set on this. We had an entire weekend that they called sex camp. It was a purity weekend where we
Why
like,
would they name it sex camp?
well, that's what everybody called it. I don't know if it was officially called that, but
Oh,
like,
okay.
no,
I
but
was like,
everybody was calling it that. It was so
oh,
inappropriate. And I remember my dad picking me up from that, and he was like, I just feel like this is so weird. Why do you guys need an entire weekend to talk about purity? Just don't have sex. It's not hard.
you're like,
Mind you, I fooled around at sex camp. So I was not, I was,
kind of slay. Wait, we lived two different things. I was making sure no one was having sex at sex camp, and you were. I love that.
no, I
Fooling around at
was
sex camp, iconic.
sinning and scared about it. I was like, I'm going to hell, like
Oh
all
my
of the
god!
time.
Wait, girl or guy? Obviously, guy.
Guy. Well, actually, no, wait. Here we go. Okay. My first kiss,
P.
it was with a girl, and we dated on and off for like a year from youth
Wow, what
group,
age?
14.
You. She knew who she was at a young age. That
did.
is.
No, what's so funny is like, ever since I went to Bethel, I've always been like, I'm straight because I honestly do really like guys. I really like, I'm married. I really enjoy being with men. But I just the last 6 months have been like, if I wasn't indoctrinated to be so scared, would I actually feel like I could never be with a girl? So yeah, that's something I'm still asking myself is because I mean,
Wow.
I did have those feelings when I was 14. I haven't like had crushes on girls since then, but I
Yeah.
don't think it's something that I could never. Like, I'm pretty sure
Interesting.
that other women don't think that if they're straight. So
That sounds a little queer. Is that okay to say? Yeah.
yes,
It feels there may be some unpacking to do there.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
and this is a safe space to do that because I mean, I kind of was I feel like recently it's been interesting. My sexuality, I very much try not to like label ish because I do feel on the grand scheme of my life like the first time I had sex I think was like 23. Like I was like very like I wouldn't say that I don't know. I'm giving myself time to figure it out, right?
yeah,
Like when it comes to who I have romantic connections with, I'm very queer. Like I have never dated a man. I have like hooked up, kissed, been interested in men specifically. Most of them, if not all of them, are some queer adjacent or queer. Like they're either
yeah.
bi or trans or right. And I think my sexuality is just I'm very attracted to queerness, and I think that's landed me in the pan placement. But it is interesting. I have found it's very hard for me to have romantic and or relationships with men. Like it just hasn't happened. I've only dated women. And it's been I recently am working on an album and one of my favorite songs, which I'm not going to say the title, but it really unpacks like, yeah, it's, there's just such a difference for me with like romance with women and with men. And I'm curious if part of that is rejecting, what I saw growing up in the relationships that I didn't, want to foster or mimic, or if I just really am incredibly gay. I don't know. So yeah, it's been an interesting thing to navigate.
It's hard to know how much of it is just you and how you actually feel and how much of it is, yeah, our brains protecting ourselves or what we've learned through time of like, I don't want that.
Totally. Literally one of the lines in the songs is, does that make me gay or just scared of men? And like, it's been such an interesting thing to, yeah, because romantically it feels so obvious to me, if that makes sense. Like the romance part of it and the relationship part of it. There's just this like small part of me that, I was fully only with women until 2 years ago. And it like took a friend of 6 years being like, hey, I like want to say I think we're flirting, and me being like, you're a man, we are not.
Yeah.
And we were. And so yeah, sexuality is just so confusing and conflicting and personal, and at least for me right now. But yeah,
I think for
I
a lot of us, I mean,
yeah,
what's so funny is I feel flipped, and I've told my husband this, we were talking about it. He's the most
yeah,
supportive human being on the planet. I'm like, I feel actually romantically more interested in men, like emotionally, like
yeah,
that
interesting.
dynamic. That's what I want, but I'm physically attracted to women. It feels like it's like
Yeah,
the
we
difference.
are.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
flipped,
we're flipped. No, it's so real.
So
Yeah,
I'm like, one thing about my husband that I love is, he gets what's it called? People speculating that he's gay on
that's
TikTok sometimes.
yes, that's
And I'm
exactly
like,
who I would think you would be with.
no,
Yeah,
I'm like, and that is the kind of man that I want to be with, because he's
yeah,
not, but he's very like Harry Styles coded, very unafraid of just being himself, and he's
yeah.
just like the best ally guy ever. He's
Might be a
awesome.
little queer. There
He's so
might,
funny.
yeah.
Like, he's like, I don't know, maybe, but like, I'm like, should I be saying this? He's like, I could actually never picture that, and that sounds horrible to me. Okay, so he's like, no, but also that's an interesting thought. Like,
He's an ally
he's a
from
strong
afar.
ally,
Yes, or even up close. Yeah.
At one point, he was like, maybe 90-10, and I was like, okay, but
Okay.
it's funny.
I
Me
love
and my family,
it.
we just have these late night conversations of like, who are we? What do we
Yeah.
actually believe when we're not so like tied down with
Yeah.
fear?
So
Luckily, he has no fear. He was also raised Catholic, and they were chill Catholics. Like, I mean, there was no religious
they were
trauma.
red wine drinker, Catholic. Yeah, yeah,
Chill.
yeah. Chill, 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 chill. No, totally. Yeah.
Yeah, when I told him about purity culture, he was like, "Wow, like, are you okay?" Okay, he did not understand what we went through.
Dating someone that doesn't have any of that is, I don't know how. Yeah, it's yeah. My favorite is like you get 3 cocktails in me, and if I'm like seeing someone that like has never had religious trauma, I'm like, sit down. Guess what time it is?
Let's do
It's
it.
time to fucking let's talk about it. This is Oceans. We're gonna start this. Okay, you're gonna listen,
Not
and then we're
Ocean.
gonna have a full conversation. Okay, with Hillsong in the back, babe. Yeah.
Yeah, we did a fire tunnel to Oceans in a tent when I was at Bethel. Do you know what a fire tunnel is? It's
R-
like where you
oh,
walk through it and people touch
yeah.
you and people are manifesting and falling to the floor. So every time I hear Oceans, I just remember like bodies hitting the floor.
And none of that was real, right? Like it can't.
Now I do. I was
At the time we were cooking. Yeah.
I was very confused. I think it's interesting to look back on it now and realize how much you can be affected by groupthink and just hype. Just so much hype is in the room. And uh, when
Dude,
you said your dad was like, I'm there for the vibes, I was thinking, you know what? It is a vibe sometimes.
it
Like,
was. Oh my god, it is a vibe. It's fun. Yeah.
mhm.
Although I will say, like, the speaking in tongues part of it, I really, I, the entire, okay,
Did you
so
do it?
no, my God, and no shame, no shame
I
to
faked
anybody. I
it.
just, uh, did you?
I did. Okay. Kenzie, the one who I showed you in the video, right?
Yeah,
She locked me locked
no.
me in a room, my brother, Kenzie, and another friend, and they were like, don't come out until you are speaking in tongues. So I think I lied after I'm sitting in this
You're
room
like, I
for,
want to come out. Yeah,
I'm like, it's getting weird, guys.
you're like,
So
I need a snack.
I think I was 18, ended up coming out of the room, and I was like, I did it. But then when I went to Bethel, I had a roommate who was also, she just told me, just open your mouth. You just have to start. And that's how Bethel was. They just believed start and the Holy Spirit will take over. So then all of a sudden you're doing it and people are clapping and they're cheering and you're just like, okay, sure. So I'm
Oh,
glad you never did it.
crazy. It's no, no, no. Oh, but I did some whack. I'm like,
Yeah, you
when
got
I
to tell me the weirdest thing you ever did because I spoke in tongues. So.
I mean, I would just go in public places and start singing worship music. I mean, what?
Because the Holy Spirit would fall.
Yeah, people are having just a delightful afternoon, and then they're just getting absolutely railed with our God is an awesome God. You
You're a
know what I
great
mean?
singer,
You're
though, so it's
welcome.
okay.
I wasn't though. I would love to send you some of my old something flipped. I wasn't. I think it's hilarious that for God, I really wasn't that good of a singer. And then I don't know what happened, but like
No
literally,
way.
yeah. I mean, I was fine. It's not like I was a bad singer, but I certainly wasn't. I feel like as soon as the church was like, hang on, this girl's cooking. Wait, we should have her. I was like, ooh, sorry. I like think I like girls and was out.
I don't think you want me anymore.
I'm like, oh, I felt like I was like Hannah Montana, but in like, I was like going to Mulligan's the night before and like making out with women and then coming and leading worship. And then I would feel so guilty. Yeah, it was real. Yeah, I was living a double life. Anyone could have seen me at Mulligan's making out with girls. Like, I don't know how I didn't get caught, to be honest, for as long as I did.
That anxiety would drive me insane.
Yeah, it did, but I weirdly, I don't know. I have no clue. I just was mainly, I thought I convinced myself that it was just like silly. You know? It was
Yeah.
like, it wasn't real. Girl.
It's
Girl.
just
And then
a thing for funsies.
I actually went home with the girl and then I was like, all right, my double life I can't. Yeah. Yeah. Once that happened, I was like, all right, this is no longer silly. I really liked
I
that.
think like
So,
people actually do this if they're
yeah.
gay.
I said, hang on. They might have something here. Yeah.
So when did you start leading worship then? Because I do know you did, right? At one
Oh,
point.
yeah. All my life. Like 13 up to like 24, 23. Pretty much right before You Might Not Like Her came out.
No
Yeah, maybe like a
way.
year before. Yeah.
So like
No.
all during the American Idol?
Yeah. Oh, totally. And after. Post.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Well, you also have to tell us about your American Idol
Oh,
experience.
God. Oh, my God. Listen,
How long was the
fuck,
line?
real long. And I forgot. I literally did it to skip school. Okay. Mind you, I did not think that I was going to make it. I really dead ass mean that. I like drove my Ford up that I somehow made it all the way up there. I stood in line. I remember I like literally paid someone $50 for their guitar strap because I forgot it and they didn't have chairs. And then I sang, and somehow the musical director was like there at the same time or something like that, and like helped me get through a bunch of the rounds. And I literally felt like it was a bit to me, is what it felt like. I was the kid with the Bibles. I was passing out. I was really good friends with all the other Christians. I was vaguely had a crush on a man that, if you squint, does look like a lesbian. So I think that may have been part of my gay awakening. It was a time. God bless.
You were passing
Yeah.
out Bibles on American
Oh, yeah.
Idol.
Girl, I was
You're like, this
outside.
is the mission field right
Yes,
now.
I was having church moments with all of my friends Ricky Manning, one of my best friends now, thinks it's so funny. He like genuinely is like you would like, we would all be like having mimosas and like swimming. And you'd be like, guys, like come read scripture. And he's like, now we're like going out mimosas with your girlfriend. What's happening? You know? Like,
What was your go-to scripture?
oh God. I mean, I loved Proverbs. Proverbs really was the idea of being like a Proverbs 31 girl was like really important to me.
Yeah, deep. Very important to live up to that.
To live up to that. And let me tell you, the queer in me was
Yeah.
screaming. The mask tendencies, it was like, you're going to have a wife. You're not going to be a wife, you know? But yeah, the
So not
closet
Leviticus.
no, certainly not. No. I mean, I really loved Esther. I loved the story of Esther, which I think is objectively hilarious because it literally is the story of a woman opposing structure and her duties. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense now. But yeah, now Jezebel really speaks to me.
No, man, I got called Jezebel by my ex. like in a non-funny way. I mean, people
In
would,
not a silly, goofy way.
not a
Yeah.
silly, goofy, like,
No, I'm
haha.
so sorry. Ugh.
No, but it feels like that was the worst possible thing you could ever be. So it's interesting to meet people outside of the church and they're like, what even is that? And I'm like, the biggest Christian diss you could ever
Yeah,
be
no.
told.
Literally, it's a slur, is what it
Yeah,
is.
it
It's a
is.
Christian slur.
So at what point were you feeling like you weren't enjoying being a worship leader anymore, or you were starting to feel that tension?
Kind of. I mean, I was like the kid that was like 13, and the pastor came up and talked to me, and I was like, "You're creepy," and I said that out loud. And my parents were like, "That's super. You can't just like tell people they're
Kind of
creepy."
rude.
No, and then it ended up coming out he was creepy, and so
Wait,
I was like
How was he
shocked.
creepy?
I don't want to out,
That's okay.
but like kicked out of the church creepy, like not certainly not illegal creepy, but messing around with other people creepy. You
Yeah.
know,
I
it
have
it,
a
it,
series called Youth Pastors Gone Wild, where I just read comments of youth pastors like dating children in their youth group. And the amount of stories, it is freaking endless. How many of these men use youth group to find their future wives?
so I have this like this is a half baked thought, but this is something that I feel. I am so grateful that I got PCOS when I was younger, because I gained a bunch of weight, and because of the fat phobia and the idea of what they wanted a Christian wife to look like. A lot of my friends were being groomed, and I wasn't. And I look back, and it's nuts to see how the thing that made me feel like, oh, like people don't notice me was actually like saving me from this horrendous thing that was happening where 23-year-old men were put in these leadership positions and talking to 13, 14-year-olds and then waiting until they were 16, 17 and marrying them. Like I have been to so many weddings of my friends that were not 18 yet, that were marrying. Oh yeah, no, it's real. And a lot of them obviously are divorced, and most of them are obviously queer. Now it's nuts. Like I don't know. There's a lot that I've had to unpack of like just creepy men hanging around us, and me thinking that that was normal, and them having us call them our big brothers, our shepherds, and all the while, like we
They're
were being
waiting.
groomed. We
Yeah.
were being groomed. They were waiting, and they were developing these weird relationships with us, and then they were marrying us, and
Yeah.
like
And they're also authority figures, so it's creepy in more than one way, you
totally.
know?
Which
And
I haven't even. The fact that that's not even what I'm like. The age is the biggest thing, but even that is just unreal.
oh, it's so
Um,
disgusting. And it's
yeah.
so common. And I feel like, yeah, whenever I see, although I will say there are a couple nice youth pastors who follow me and they say they support my
Love
series
you.
because
Yeah.
they're
Hey.
like, this is
Yeah.
horrible. I agree. But for the most part, I mean, it's, ugh, whenever I see like a single young youth pastor, I'm like,
Yeah.
red flag. And I
Red
mean, they'll also
flag.
like cheat on their wives. But I think like age gaps, especially in the church, it is so normalized. My ex was 30 and I was 20 when we got together. And yeah, a prophet said that God was giving me to him from the stage. So
Oh, not giving him.
that,
Not giving you to him. Like you're a
like a present.
package. Ah.
God is blessing you with Jubilee. Does that mean anything to you? And everybody's like, oh my gosh, that's his girlfriend of 3 weeks, you know? And yeah, those age gaps are just so normal. But now I'm 31 and over my dead body would I be with somebody who's 21? Like I can't, I
There's
feel sick.
like that's crazy.
It's
That's not.
sick. I
Yeah.
don't get it.
No, I don't either. I mean, I feel like because yeah, I'm currently seeing someone that's older than me, and I'm now realizing like I think 27, 28 is when you can start making that decision to have an age gap.
Yeah, I was like 26, 27. That's when I'm
Before
like,
25,
okay,
yeah. No, I agree.
no. Yeah,
Oof.
it
Yeah.
matters less the older you get, but I'm like, when you are freshly out of high school,
No 21-year-old should be hanging out with anybody that doesn't have a graduation cap. Do you know what I mean? Like yeah, it's yeah,
It's a
it's rough.
lot. So, how did you end up telling them that you didn't want to do worship anymore?
I didn't really. I really just was like, I quit. I need to go and do, because I got signed for You Might Not Like Her, kind of like around
Okay.
there. So ended, and I think a lot of them ended up like, I had some hard conversations with like the leaders of like, hey, you guys are going to hear something that's probably upsetting, and the upsetting thing is me being myself. But I had a few conversations because I again don't shy away from hard conversations. But I'm assuming a majority of them found out via my music video. I assume that they all. I find it really funny that like I think I was this like person. Like a lot of them thought that they couldn't love a gay person, and then I kind of like bamboozled them because they already did, and it was really hard for them to like, because a lot of them, I really loved my church. Like I genuinely adored the people there, and like a
Yeah.
lot of them I've lost touch with, and I'm curious what their opinions are of me sometimes, but not enough to ask.
So, nobody have people come out and confronted you or talked to you or told you that you've been led astray, or do they kind of just like leave it?
A few, yeah. I mean, I've heard of group chats. I've heard of. I've been a conversation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's a part of me that sometimes, especially when I'm anxious or having an OCD moment, there's definitely times where I get in my head about it and it bums me out. And then there are also times that I remember how much I had to be somebody else in order to um, fit in with them. And I imagine having to give up the community that I have now in order to justify being around people that don't love me for who I am. And it just doesn't really make sense to me, you know? I've just found such amazing community now that but I am curious. I get curious now and then.
Of course.
Especially my best friend from home, Shawnee, she will have a glass of wine and I'll be like, okay, like tell me the things that you've heard. And she's like, I don't think this is beneficial. And I'm like, I just want to know like what's happening. And yeah, it's hard to stomach sometimes, especially because these are people that I loved, I poured into, I led to God, right? So it's like, I don't know. It does bother me. It
Yeah.
obviously does.
No, I love that you're sharing that because I think I I don't know. I was just talking with my sister about this yesterday. I was saying I since I post a lot about deconstruction and like evangelical type content, I think people think that I'm like so far away from this or this like doesn't really affect me. But I'm also like, oh, I'm sure that I'm the talk of some group chats and some people are like, oh, she's for sure going to hell. And there are still conversations that I have not had with people that I know I'm going to have with people. And while I might be loud about it on the internet, like these are very real relationships and things that you still have to deal with. And it still matters to you at the end of the day, you know? And I saw something the other day. It was a video and it was like, it makes me sad that they're disappointed in me, but I'm disappointed in them. And I think that that healed me a little bit because I was like, you know what? I am disappointed in the people who I know I am disappointing. I don't like that they're supporting this administration. I don't like that they don't seem to care about like human rights and stuff like that. It's disappointing, you know? So we can love each other and equally be disappointed in each other.
Also, did you know that's like actually very similar to OCD therapy, which is turning things around in the way of a lot of times people with OCD or a lot of times people with anxiety, when you're wondering if someone's mad at you all the time, or if you're wondering if something, it's actually an indication that you're feeling that towards them. And so asking myself in this moment, oh, I'm worried this person is mad at me, or I'm worried this person is disappointed in me. Oftentimes I have to go, am I upset with them? Is there any reason that I'm disappointed, that I'm flipping? Because I flip blame a lot. And so that's been an interesting OCD thing for me to be like, am I satisfied actually with, or like even when I'm like, what I was dating, a big thing is I would get like I want them to choose me. I want them to choose me. And instead of asking like, you know, do they like me? It's instead investigating, do I like them? And like, it's regaining your power and allowing yourself to also have autonomy to make decisions. And so anyways, that just reminded me of
Oh my
that.
gosh, you're taking me to therapy because I actually do have OCD. And I haven't heard that before. And I'm like, actually, now I need to go rethink a bunch of thoughts I've been thinking.
It's an indication that something is a ruckus, and
Yeah.
it doesn't necessarily mean that they are upset with you. It means that something is um, unsettled in you, which has been, oh, speaking of which, my OCD, last week I was getting my nails done, and this woman, super sweet lady, we were having a conversation. She's like giving my hand a massage. She massages every single finger except for this one. And I was like sitting there like, I don't like know how to describe to this woman that like, unfortunately, if she doesn't rub this finger specifically, my whole week is going to be bad. Like I like can't
You have to
explain,
even it
like
out.
I literally was like I was like having a moment where I was like, this is going to impact my entire week. And it is weird and strange to have to ask someone, can you rub my finger? Do you know what I mean? Like that is a boundary. And I hear that. But anyways, I ended
But you
up
did it
waiting.
to the other 9.
No, I was like, ma'am, I would rather you not touch any of them than only rub 9 of them. Like, could you do it? But anyways, one of my sweet friends, I texted her in the parking lot. I was like, I'm having a moment. I'm having an OCD moment. This is really a big deal for me. And she's like, come over. I will rub your finger. And she literally rubbed it. I was like, thank you. And I was even. And now it's a great week.
I'm obsessed.
It's so embarrassing.
No, I love it though. It's so real. My OCD, which is so embarrassing. But I have to use the restroom like 10 million billion times before I go to bed. So if I get in bed and if I even get the thought, maybe you should go again, I will not be able to go to bed until I get up again. So it's like a joke between me and my husband. I like literally lay down and then I stand up and I like lay down and stand up.
Like, and what if I do no, it's so real. OCD is I feel like I'm learning so much about it this year, and I'm also having a lot of friends that are being diagnosed with it, because I always assumed my tendencies. I feel like so many people are like, oh, I'm OCD, like I need things to be clean. And I'm like over here, like I accidentally just said like, what's the worst that could happen? And now I'm convinced that someone close to me is going to die. And I can't explain that to you. Like it's an interesting, I feel like more people are talking about it, which has been really, I saw this TikTok that was so funny. That was like, you guys do not understand, as this person with OCD, how much is riding on my bike or back. Like today, I didn't step on any cracks, so none of you guys are going through an apocalypse. You're welcome.
I saved your life.
Yeah, I saved your life. Yeah, and the comments were like, someone was like, let's not even talk about all of the like speed bumps that I've convinced myself were people. And like, I'm like,
I
there's a community of us.
panicked one time.
Yeah.
I told my husband, like for about 45 minutes after I was driving to my grandma's house and I thought I saw a shadow in the road and then I was like, oh my gosh, I probably killed someone, right? And then I was at my grandma's house and for about 45 minutes I was just waiting for sirens. I'm like, where's the sirens? But
It's real.
I didn't run over anyone,
It's
guys,
true.
but
I frequently look my name up in the search warrant database just in case. And I'm like the biggest rule follower because of OCD. And I don't know
you're like,
why.
what if I'm a criminal?
I'm like, what if someone planted my hair? It's actually like OCD is. I also got a colonoscopy at 22 because TikTok knew that I was gay before I did, which I don't know if I've told the story before, but sitting in a church group. Okay. I'm really with everyone.
Yes. Okay. Tell it though. Yep. I remember this.
Sitting in a church group, everyone is having a prayer circle, and I just fucking opened my mouth and I said, we need to pray for TikTok. It's pushing the gay agenda. There's only masked lesbians on there. Like, that's really crazy. Are you guys... I learned about the For You page. Everyone was like showing me theirs. It's like cars, scripture. I was like...
They were like, we're not getting the gay agenda on our For You page.
And I was like, got it. TikTok isn't gay. I'm gay.
That's so embarrassing.
Yeah. So, no, it's so embarrassing. I think about it frequently. So now get this. So then I start getting colon cancer stuff on my TikTok. And I'm like, well, they're 1 for 1 on calling me out for things. So then I went and got a colonoscopy, and they were like, please do not come back until you're 50. And I was like, okay, sorry. That's perfect one. T. Sorry, doc. Yeah, I get it. All good.
No, it's so real. And I tell my husband because he has undiagnosed OCD. We're working on that. We should get
Yeah.
him to see somebody. But it runs so hard in my family. I think 4 out of my 5 siblings have it.
Wow.
And one of my parents has it. And now my husband has it. I'm like, our
Y'all
poor
are just in
child.
loops.
We're
Your guys'
like,
family hangs are just, do you think this happened? Well, I don't know. Do you think, like, I can imagine that dinner. Yeah. No
Yeah.
one is there to help. Yeah.
we just go and go and go. And
Yeah.
thankfully, my husband has like a different focus on his OCD, so he can help balance out my OCD because it's kind of shows up differently. But yeah, I told him our poor children, we're gonna have
Maybe
some spicy
2 OCD
DNA.
cancels it up. Maybe it cancels it out. 2 OCD
Double
and
negative.
suddenly it's like, yeah, it's just a double negative and they won't have it.
They're gonna be very emotionally healthy. It's gonna be.
I haven't prayed in a really long time, but I'm praying your kids don't have OCD because
Thank
holy
you.
shit, it's
a bad one.
it's a bad one. People don't realize how bad it is. It's bad.
No, it's like
least
not
mine
funny.
is.
It's dark
No,
humor for us, but
yeah, I've been like trying to explain it to the person that I'm seeing, and I'm like, I'm just going to give it to you in little doses. And then once I'm convinced I have a heart attack, I'm having a heart attack, then you'll like really be, that's when we can make it official. You know what I mean?
yeah, you'll fully
I'm
understand.
like, yeah, I was like laughing with my best friend. I was like, how does she know that she wants to date me? She has never taken me to the ER yet. And my best friend was like, true.
We'll just have to wait for that one.
We'll have to wait for that one. Damn it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So what was the writing process like for the song? What's it called? You Might Not Like Her.
I not like her.
Because that just changed my soul. So were you scared writing it?
Yeah, terrified. Literally had just come home from sleeping with a girl for the first time and was like, well, that's probably a thing that I'll do again. And I was with my best friend at the time. And I literally was the quickest song genuinely I have ever, like, I think I wrote that song in 20 minutes. Like, it was just like dumping. That's why technically the verses don't really like make sense time wise. Like, it's very just like, it felt like me talking over a guitar. Yeah. And then the piano part, Rabbit started playing those 4 chords, and I was like, fuck, like that reminds me of worship. And he was like, oh, sorry, I'll change it. And I was like, no, keep it. Like, that's exactly what it needs to be. And that someday you'll kiss a girl and it was just like, it just unlocked. Like, it was like something that I needed to write. I can't even explain it. And that bridge we ended up writing later with my my friend Adam, and because I didn't have a bridge originally, and then because I had written that before I had told my parents, and then time had passed. I had told my parents, they came around, and then that's when I went back in the studio and I was like, the someday you'll think you disappoint your parents, but they'll love you not despite, but regardless, ended up being later because that was the trajectory that we had headed on. And I showed it to my parents, and my mom just sobbed and was like, thank you for like giving me the chance to redeem that. So yeah. And then the You Might Not Like Her music video was actually my real coming out to my parents later. So we had planned that it was going to be this like full story narrative of my life. And the moment that my parents, I had a rough coming out, like basically I told my parents and they were like, no, you're not. Like, this is your OCD. And I was like, oh my God. Like, yeah, rough. Which for a girl with OCD, I'm like, okay, back to the drawing board. Like, I'll try again.
Well, maybe you know me better than me.
Right. So my dad also had displayed some homophobia growing up. Love him. He's very honest about it. He is now he like goes and gives dad hugs at Pride. Like, he's so sweetie. But
we love growth.
Yeah, I love him. Yeah. But I remember it was the day of, I was fucking exhausted. We had done everything for the EP already. And I was in my parents' bedroom and I was having a fucking mental breakdown because I was exhausted. I was going through, like, I was watching other people reenact my trauma. And I was like, I'm exhausted. Like, we have been up 6 a.m. till, like, it was like nuts. It was crazy. We were just out shooting for 5 days in my hometown. Like, it was exhausting. And my dad came in, and mind you, my dad's not really an emotional, he's like a classic, like, keep that shit to yourself, right? Like, he is an emotional guy, but he like doesn't cry. And he came in and was like, we had hired these actors. The last scene that was going to be me coming out to my parents. And my dad came in, and my dad doesn't like attention when it comes to like being on camera, that kind of thing. And he sat me down and he was like, hey, I know that you've hired these people to play me. I would really actually like to play myself, because I want to give you the coming out that like you deserved, that I should have given you the first time. And he was like crying, and I was like, okay. And like within 10 minutes, like the crew had come and got me, and my parents were sitting, and I came out and I told them I was gay, and we got that moment, and it was a one take, and everyone was sobbing. It was like one of the most beautiful. And now I have that on, like, You Might Not Like Her is literally a physicality of my parents accepting my queerness. And since then, it's been a trajectory of just upward, hard conversations, and just my parents being in this fight with me. And it has been, I'm so lucky to be loved by people like Rob and Alicia. It's quite nuts. And I always say with my listeners and the people that, that listen to my music, I share my parents, because I think that anyone who relates to You Might Not Like Her deserves to have parents that love them despite, and so, not despite, but regardless. So, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that you got to relive that moment, but in a healthier way. You guys kind of got that redo. That's really beautiful. And I love that he said that it kind of sounded like a worship song, and you're like, keep it, because I
Keep
think
it.
that going back to what we were saying about like the vibes of church, like sometimes it's good vibes, there is something about, like, I liked Oceans. I thought it's a bop. It makes you feel something in your soul. You feel like
Yeah, it does.
life has meaning. There's something like deep inside of you. So to be able to have that same sort of feeling, but with redemptive lyrics that actually resonate with
That
you
was what I
now.
wanted for the EP. Yeah, that was the whole EP. That's such a great way to describe. That's exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, no. And
Yeah.
it came across. Like it was
church
so
music for
healing.
ex-church kids. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, yes, take me to church, Maddie. Like,
I said, pulling out the big girl voice. Yeah, and I'm so excited. I feel like I needed a second to not talk about that in my music for a while. Like, I needed to just fucking date and write breakup songs, and I did, and that was awesome. And now I feel like I'm kind of like returning to sender recently, of like being able to really like articulate what it's like to be 2 years out from that, and just feel so comfy in my sexuality and where I've landed. And
that's so awesome.
Crazy.
What has dating been like?
Oh goodness. Yeah, I mean, it's been. I mean, it's hard. I'm noticing that I have this immense pressure to find the one, and I think that comes from the church. And I am having an experience where I am moving slow, and I'm encouraging myself to just date because I want to know someone. And it's been interesting I swear to God, my church comes out when I'm dating someone, because I'm like, well, if we're not going to get married, then, and that just, I am really, I have a speed that I don't know. It's so strange. It comes out.
I know. It's so funny. I was just talking about this at dinner last night with my sister and my husband, and we were joking about how, so I got divorced, and then I was crazy. I got on the apps like 3 days after I filed for divorce, met my now husband, and I'm like, God bless him for, I don't know. I was still in my mind like so serious so quickly. Oh my gosh. When he didn't love me after a month, or he was like, well, I'm still it's going really
Getting to know
good.
you.
Like, it's going great. I just, well,
You're like, okay, so propose.
I was like, so you hate me. Okay.
Yeah. So you don't want to love me for eternity. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, how do you not know that you love me at this point? Right. Because I was just so used to fast pace and so much pressure of, and I also think just people getting married so young in the church, getting divorced at 25. I was like, oh my God, I wasted all of those years. And like, I hopefully will find someone, and I'm not going to be alone forever. And now I think like, if I was still single at 31, now I feel like, oh, that's totally fine. Like my mind has definitely changed.
It changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the
I'm
timeline is
glad.
so off, because in my mind, I was like, oh my gosh, I got to have kids by like 30 or 31. And now I'm like, how far can we push this thing safely?
You're like, freeze my eggs, god damn it. Yeah, no, literally.
I'm like, let's push it off as long as humanly possible because I'm just
Yeah.
enjoying the vibes.
It's so real. The speed of which we moved in the church is astounding.
Yeah.
And it's weird when you're dating someone and they're like, no, it's like typical to like get to know each other for a couple months. And I'm like, okay. And then what? Marriage, children? Like, how do you not know? Yeah.
Yeah. Wouldn't there
And
be
especially in the
something
queer
so
community.
magical about me that you would just know?
Yeah. No, literally. I'm like, you don't feel God telling you that I am yours as a present? Like, what?
Gifting Jubilee.
Yeah, I'm literally gifting you. Yeah, it's so funny. I always say this. I feel like it's fun to date, like, being in queer relationships and also still having a lot of my I was raised in the church, so I was like taught to cook. I was taught to like take care, to be like a homemaker and all those kinds of things. And now I'm like, I get to do that for a wife. Are you kidding? Like, I like get to find like a masked lesbian or any. Honestly, I have no type. I don't know why that just felt right. I'm like to make dinners for, and like, yeah, I'm in.
I've
Like
been
that's like I'm
preparing
doing
for
all this
this.
shit for. Yes, I'm like all the things that they told me I should do for my husband to do it for the gays. Like now I'm like having youth group, but really we're just like playing We're Not Really Strangers and I'm making pulled pork. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
excellent. I'm getting to do all the things that I was taught in the church, but for the gays. I am living a dream life.
Some of it carries on. You keep the good
Yeah.
and you toss out the bad.
No, totally.
Yeah. So you were saying that the next album is going to be more about like the deconstruction, right? So how has that been? Obviously, you were scared to
Yeah.
release that song and, you
I
care
think
about
now.
what people say. I mean, I think we all care a little bit about it and it still like sits with us, but were you scared about the idea of hell and how did you get past
Yes.
those fears?
Yeah. Okay. There's parts of me that it was hard. There was parts of me that were really ashamed, to be fully transparent. And then there were also parts of me that were like, what did you expect? Like every single leader has either been arrested, kicked out of the church,
Yeah.
divorced, which is fine, but when you're preaching, like, do you know what I mean?
Yes, you're preaching the opposite.
Right. Which I am so pro get out of such a. I hope you know that is not.
We love
I want to
divorce.
respect. Yeah, we love divorce. I stand by divorce. Okay, but when it's adamant, it's the same way that like, I feel about me probably preaching anti-LGBTQ stuff and then being queer. I'm like okay. Anyways, so, but yeah, I think this next time having songs, I'm in such a better place about all of it, and I'm in such a more sturdy place with where I and what I believe, that I'm not as scared as I was last time. Last time was terrifying because no one knew. Everyone knew me as like I was at a wedding at that point, and someone pulled me aside and was like, "Is Hollywood paying you to do this?" And I was like, "No,
Not
no,
the
no,
evil.
no."
Yeah, they just have a checkbook. They're writing you $1 million to
No,
denounce everything.
literally. I'm like, I signed a record deal and I got a car, but it's not like it's from the devil. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I'm not doing any of this for one thing about me. I was just doing it for I'm not, so silly. But yeah, I don't know. It was interesting to the reactions. But now, I think because people know that of me and I'm so steadfast in what I believe and just how certain I am of like, I was actually just having a conversation with a girl that I'm seeing, and she's very spiritual. And it's been something that has kind of come up for us a little bit where I don't really want to talk about it a ton. Like it is, was raised so spiritual and so I know, and this is exactly what it is, that being an empty canvas, a blank canvas right now has been so delightful for me. And I do think I operate in a spiritual, like, I think someone who's intuitive the way that I am. I do think I am like very water signy, very like, I think I pick up on things that maybe other people don't. That sounds like really pick me. That's not what I'm trying.
No, it
Do you know what I
doesn't.
mean?
No, I know.
Like I
Yeah.
think especially like I wanted to be a special ed teacher. Like I've always really communicated with just like even people that are nonverbal, like I feel like I am really in tune with emotions. And
Yeah.
I think that comes from maybe a spiritual plane that I'm not curious about. And that's just my truth. And it's been so interesting to have those conversations with someone that is so spiritual and be like,
And
I'm just not ready
curious.
to even, I'm just not curious. And like, I am curious for you. I want to know what that is for you. And I hope you're okay being with someone that I honestly would prefer to just say, I don't know. I don't know where that is coming from. I don't want to tell anyone that I know where things are coming from. I want to exist as a blank canvas. And maybe someday I will dabble in it. Maybe. And I think maybe I won't put a name to it because I do think I'm innately a spiritual person because of the way that I like and adore and connect with people. But I don't need it to be labeled, and I don't need to know. I really don't. I like where it is and I like what it is. And
Yeah,
I don't need.
I think the weight of just feeling the need to be certain and always constantly just having those questions in your mind growing up, and like everything around it is so heavy and such high stakes that I could
Yeah.
see that when you feel like you've stepped out of that, it feels so good that you're like, I just want to take a break. And that break might be till I die.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know, I totally get it because it's like, I just feel really good. And maybe I think that there's something healing in being okay with not knowing and just being like, I'm just vibing. I'm
Yeah.
doing good. Yeah,
And I love when people have their own spirituality. I want
totally.
that. Please. Like I actually very much respect religion. I respect whatever makes you feel full. I was sipping a tea for a very long time and I am just vibing with water right now. You know what I
I love
mean?
it.
Like I'm good. I am not curious. I really am not. I just am not. And I don't know if that's bad.
I was like that for about 4 years. So when like in 2020 when I left, I went through this period where I just didn't care to look into anything. I think coming out of an abusive marriage, I knew that I couldn't handle very much. So
Yeah.
at the time, and people would ask me about theology. Well, what do you think now? And I was like, I just have no desire to even ask myself any of those questions. And it wasn't really until this spring when I started like
Really?
deconstructing more that I finally felt ready to like actually ask myself
Yeah.
questions. And to this day, I actually don't share my beliefs on TikTok. So people are always asking
Love.
me, what do you
We should get
believe?
coffee.
Huh?
We should get coffee, and I want to know
Oh yeah,
her
I'll tell you what I believe.
Yeah,
But I'm like to everybody else, I'm
yeah.
like, no, this is just for me for now. Yeah. And it's so healing to feel like you have permission to just let some things be for you, which is
Yep,
very, very nice after feeling like you're accountable to the world your entire life. So,
totally. Yeah.
yeah. Well, where can people find you? Obviously, you're all over everywhere.
I'm
So,
like church. No, I'm just
you
kidding.
can find me at the
Yeah,
local
at the local.
street corner singing Our God
Yeah,
is an
yeah,
Awesome God.
yeah. Our God in your ear while you say, "Please, dear God, stop." No, you can find me online. I'm going on tour probably next year. I'm gonna be releasing an album
I
that
am
I'm so
so
fucking. I
excited
am
for your tour.
literally locked in, and I canceled this tour, and I know it was a big decision. But I just like, as I started writing these songs, I was like, I have to sing these with them. Like,
Yeah.
I know it's going to be worth it. So, tour next year,
I'll be
album next year.
there sobbing
Yes,
my eyes
Julie,
out.
I'm going to bring you on stage. We're going to have our own podcast up.
Now
But
let's talk
thank
about
you so much for
trauma.
having me. Yeah, no, literally. Maybe you should open for me and you can just have a mic and just gab.
You're like, tell us the worst thing your youth pastor said.
Show
Oh.
us your show us your purity ring, babe. Yeah, no,
Oh, well,
so
thank you
good.
so much for agreeing to
Thanks
come
for
on.
having
This was
me.
just everything to me. So
Oh,
I
I
so
hope I didn't
appreciate
say
it.
anything offensive. My OCD is like, oh God.
You're like, what did I do this time?
What did I say? I mean, but thank you so much. This was so fun. And please, let's get coffee.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
I do believe.
Okay,
See you soon.
bye. See you later. And that's it for this episode of Heelish. You guys have no idea how much this meant to me because that song got me through so many hard times of the beginning of my deconstruction. And I just know that her music resonates with so many people. So to have her on is such a full circle moment, and it was amazing. So if you guys could leave a review, that would mean the world to me, or share the episode with somebody who you think might need it. And I will see you guys next week for another episode of Heelish.